Okay, let's just jump right in. We need to talk about those difficult people in your life. You know the ones, the people who just consistently stress you out. Well, it turns out they're not just draining your energy, they are literally, and I mean literally, making you older on a cellular level.
It's a question we've all probably asked ourselves, right? We know these relationships feel like they're taking a toll, but can you actually put a price on the biological damage? Well, some new research just did.
And here's the number, 9 months. For every single person in your life that you'd consider a hassler, your biological clock speeds up by an extra 9 months. And get this, that's just for one person. The effect actually stacks up.
Now, this isn't just some wellness theory or a metaphor. This comes from a huge study published in one of the most respected scientific journals on the planet. They found hard data showing that stress from these relationships leaves an actual physical mark on our DNA.
And if you're thinking this is a rare thing, think again. The study found that almost 1 out of every 3 adults has at least one of these people in their close circle. So how on earth did scientists measure this kind of invisible damage?
Well, they used a really cool tool called an epigenetic clock. The easiest way to think about it is like this. Your chronological age is just the number of candles on your birthday cake. But your biological age, which this clock measures, is the real wear and tear on your body. It's how old your cells actually are. And the researchers used 2 different kinds of clocks, which this analogy just illustrates perfectly. The Grim Age 2 clock is like the odometer on your car. It shows the total mileage, all the biological aging you've accumulated over your life. Then you have the Dunedin Pace Clock, which is more like your speedometer. It shows how fast you're aging right now. And what they found is that these hasslers mess with both. So how does a tense conversation at a family dinner actually get under your skin and into your cells to speed up aging? It's a fascinating process, and scientists have been piecing this puzzle together for years. This idea isn't new. The groundwork goes way back. Back in 2004, researchers found a link between stress and shortened telomeres. Those are the little protective caps on our chromosomes. Then, by 2015, they found the smoking gun, a direct link between our main stress hormone, cortisol, and the very spots on our DNA that these epigenetic clocks measure. It basically works like a chain reaction. That ongoing conflict keeps your body's alarm system switched on, just flooding your system with cortisol. That constant cortisol overload leads to chronic, low-grade inflammation, a state scientists have nicknamed inflammaging, and that state is basically an accelerator pedal for your body's aging process. And you can actually see this effect in the real world. It's not just invisible. In this one incredible study, researchers gave married couples tiny blister wounds. The couples who had really hostile, nasty arguments healed at only 60% of the speed of the couples who were supportive of each other. Think about that. Their bodies were so busy dealing with the social stress that they couldn't even properly heal a simple physical wound. It's wild. Okay, so we know these relationships are bad for us, but which ones are the most dangerous? The study's answer here was a total surprise. It is not what you would guess. Just look at this chart. It's family, parents, siblings, even children, who were by far the costliest to our biology, adding more than a full year of biological age. Other people, like coworkers or friends, were next. But spouses? This is the shocker. A difficult spouse had no statistically significant effect on aging. 0. So, why? Why is family so much more damaging? The lead researcher, Brea Perry, says it comes down to a single word: escape. These are the people who are just embedded in your life. You can't just quit your family like you can quit a job or break up with a friend. It's that feeling of being trapped that makes the stress so powerful. But wait, because it gets even more complex. The research suggests that the most damaging relationships might not even be the ones that are just bad all the time. No, it's the ones that are unpredictable. They're called ambivalent relationships. And here's the crazy paradox. If someone is just a jerk to you all the time, you know what to expect. You can build up your emotional walls. But with that ambivalent, hot and cold person, you're always on edge. You never know if you're going to get the good version or the bad version of them. And that unpredictability keeps your body in this state of constant alert, which is biologically exhausting.
Okay, so we get the problem, we get the science. The big question is, what can we do about it? How do we protect ourselves? Let's talk about a cellular defense plan.
The advice from the study's lead author is actually pretty practical. She's not saying you have to cut everyone off. She's saying just be realistic. Set limits on the time and, more importantly, the effort you pour into these draining relationships.
And if you need a tool for that, there's a fantastic one from therapy called Dear Man. It's an acronym that basically gives you a script for a tough conversation. You describe the facts, express your feelings, assert what you need, and then reinforce why it's a good thing for both of you. The other parts, staying mindful and appearing confident, are all about how you deliver the message. It's a complete roadmap for setting a healthy boundary.
So, boundary setting is your proactive move, but there's also a defensive tactic called the gray rock method. This is for when someone is really trying to get a reaction out of you. You just become as boring and unresponsive as a gray rock. It denies them the drama they're looking for. It's more of a short-term trick to de-escalate, not really a long-term solution. And maybe the most powerful strategy of all is remembering that the best defense is a good offense. Don't just focus on managing the negative. Actively build up your network of positive, supportive people. This creates what scientists call reserve capacity. It's like a health buffer that actively pushes back against the biological damage from the toxic ties. So let's just quickly recap the big surprising takeaways here. First, those inescapable family ties seem to be way more biologically costly than difficult friends or coworkers. Second, the big shocker, difficult spouses didn't seem to move the needle on these aging clocks, at least in this study. And third, maybe the sneakiest and most damaging relationships are those confusing hot and cold ones that keep us on high alert. Which really brings it all down to one final personal question you can ask yourself. When you look at your own social circle, who is an energy investment, someone who fills you up, and who is an energy tax, someone who just drains you dry? The answer, it turns out, could have a lot more to do with your long-term health than you ever realized.